Right now, we still have our managed search operation teams out looking at more refined areas. We've done a few peer reviews of our search operation, and they've all come back saying that we were right on target for where we should be looking. So now we're just going to go back and slowly go over a few areas that we believe have a higher probability. You also have Troy and volunteers searching other areas that they've been working with us, talking to us about things that they can do. So we've pointed them in a couple directions on areas they could search. Investigatively, we still continue the homicide investigation, collecting evidence, whether it be from the family or from people that had interaction with Catherine. And then also the other piece of it is running down any leads if someone believes they see Sarah or Jacob at any point. My investigators or patrol officers will immediately respond, or if it's an old sighting, they'll try and determine if it's a good sighting or not.
What is it that's leading you to believe they're in these wooded areas?
She liked to be in park areas. The urban areas, if you're trying to hide something, if you're trying to hide a crime, our experience is you wouldn't go into a residence or a commercial property. So these are the highest probability for us, especially considering she's not giving us anything to go on as far as where the kids are located, and around schools and churches. Big open areas that people aren't normally in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And have you talked to her anymore since the first initial interrogation of her?
No, since she's been at the Department of Corrections, she's been under their watch and being evaluated. Also, her attorneys are with her, so she's represented. And having already filed the charges, we can't talk to her again.
And how many detectives do you have working on this case?
So there's my detective, Sergeant Cates. He's leading two detectives. We assign a primary and a secondary, and Detective Reuven and Detective Karen are the primary and secondary. Then beyond that, we have right now we have another 15 that assist with running out leads. It's a little bit different now that we've gotten Catherine. Before we were over 60 detectives working to track down Catherine. Now we again running down a few leads and doing the homicide investigation. We don't need as many. We certainly still have a lot of search teams out there, scaled back a little bit because we've covered so much ground. We've covered over 20,000 acres, and now we're going back through areas. So a little bit less resources, but there's still more than enough to do the job that we need to do.
And why was there not an Amber Alert put out on this case?
So the Amber Alert's difficult. At the time that we were making decisions, there was no vehicle involved, and the Amber Alert system is really a highway system to get the word out to look for a vehicle and the missing persons. So you never want to overuse a resource like that so that it just becomes noise in the background. You always want it to be effective. So in working with the state, it's not something that would have met the criteria for putting out an Amber Alert. Because again, there was no vehicle, and we knew that Catherine was involved. The other part of it is there are parental abductions all of the time across the United States, and at the time that we made these decisions, we felt we had better avenues than using that resource.
And speaking of the car, you've recently put out those pictures again of the car. Talk to me about why the photos were put out.
So the photos were originally put out when we started the investigation. Now, as we're going through and we're still trying to find Jacob and Sarah and have any clue as to where specifically Catherine was, we know the general vicinity. What we want is to the public and business owners to look at their surveillance cameras and see if they might see the vehicle or see Catherine, Jacob, Sarah, so that we can focus in even more on where to look for them. It's, again, a lot of area, 20,000, 30,000 acres, even more square miles that we have to look for her. The cars become important to fill in the gap, so we just want their help. We've collected a lot of video already. Now we're trying to do everything possible.
Are you convinced that they're in a wooded area and not with someone?
I'm convinced they're not with someone. As far as an actual location, we won't know until we find them. There's probabilities that would indicate in a wooded area or a more secluded area.
But you don't believe that she's left them with someone like she had said she did initially?
No, we don't believe so. The story that she gave us, we confronted her that's not factual, and eventually she changed her story to leaving them in a location. And there are certain things that her lawyers would have to report to us if the kids were anywhere other than where they should be, which is with Troy at this time. And they don't have that information for us.
When does this become a cold case? How long do you keep doing these searches?
Oh, this is nowhere near being a cold case. We're as long as we're getting new information in and there's area to be searched, we'll search. And even beyond that, part of the problem with searching areas is as good as our folks are, as good as the canines are, there's always a chance that you could miss what you're looking for. So what we do is we stage how we look. So if, say, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, we don't find what we're looking for, we'll go out several weeks from now, like after the leaves fall, and we'll do another search because the terrain has changed. There's a little bit more possibility of spotting what we want to find.